Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we have something that I'm really excited for. We're going to return to Canada for the first time in quite a wee while, hence why I'm wearing red today of course, and this is going to be my first review from the province of Ontario, so really looking forward to this. We're going to have a taste of a beer from Flying Monkeys Craft Brewery, and this one is one of their special editions. It's the Chocolate Manifesto, an Imperial Stout at 10% ABV. It's very highly rated on Rate Beer, got a 98 I think when I checked it out earlier, but it's always cool to try Canadian beers, mainly because they're so hard to come by, and I know that the quality of stuff that's available out there is really quite good, so hopefully I can get across to Canada and try some of these other beers. And I think it's just the sort of tax regime and stuff out there that makes them very difficult or not so common to find in Europe, but hopefully this is the start of them coming across here to Europe. I tried my first beer from British Columbia a few months back, but this is the first one I've ever seen from Ontario, so exciting times ahead. And like I say, I know the standard of Canadian craft beer is pretty good, so those of you watching in Canada, I hope you enjoy my take on this beer, and please do let me know some of the other beers and breweries you guys would like to see me review. But anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, of course, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my future reviews that hopefully I can do from Flying Monkeys Craft Brewery. This is the very first time I'm trying one of their beers, of course. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the home page and search for beer based on country, city, state, province, whatever it is you're interested in. There are playlists there for beers from the different countries. There is one for all my Canadian beers, but there's only about 10 or so in that. Hopefully I can add more in the near future. And as always, please do let me know some of the other beers and breweries you guys would like to see me review, especially for watching from Canada or indeed Ontario. So yeah, always great to hear from you guys, and the support that you give the channel is hugely appreciated. But anyway, a little bit about Flying Monkeys Craft Brewery then. So Flying Monkeys are based on the waterfront in Barrie in central Ontario. It seems to be quite a small city actually. I read it was the 34th biggest city in Canada, and they were describing this part of Ontario that it's in as central Ontario. But the brewery started life as the Robert Simpson Brewery back in 2004, and it was named after the first mayor of Barrie, who also happened to be a brewer. But the brewery was founded by Peter Chiodo, who apparently learned to homebrew in his grandfather's basement, and he continued while he was at university because it was cheaper for him than actually going out and buying lots of different beers, and he wanted to be able to brew things that were better quality, of course, than a lot of the macro beers and things that were available to him. But the brewery changed their name in 2008 because Peter felt that Robert Simpson was too close to some of the kind of bigger macro brewed beers that were available in Canada at the time, and he also thought that the kind of crazier name and was a bit more suited to the kind of craft ethos that was going on at the brewery, and it also helped them a little bit with their marketing as well. So they opened up their tap room in downtown Barrie in July 2016, and they've got 16 different taps there where you can try lots of different things, both from the local area and from Flying Monkeys assortment as well. But they also have tours of the brewery as well, and the tap room seems to be open pretty much every day. So if you find yourself in Barrie on a little drive or something like that, do make sure you go and check out Flying Monkeys Brewery. So yeah, and that's all the information I was able to find on these guys. They seem like quite an interesting company, of course, so hopefully I can get out to Ontario sometime and visit their tap room or something like that. But yeah, they had, I think it was 6 year-round beers. They had a couple of seasonal ones, 4 I think, and then they had 4 limited release beers as well. So in total, that's about 14 different beers they had available at this time. So yeah, they'll probably expand that in the near future, but without further ado then, let's actually get on to the tasting section of this video. So as I say, if you want to read more about the brewery and stuff, check out all the links in the description below. But yeah, I'll just bring up the camera and let you have a little look at the artwork on this one. Then there you can see this box really is crazy. There's like so much going on this. If you're epileptic, stay away from this box. I think the beer's probably good, but stay away from the box. But there you can see there's a lot of stuff. It's just telling you all the stuff about chocolate being kindred spirits, passion, all this. It says on the side, ingredients: water, barley, oats, lactose, cacao nibs, cocoa powder, hops, yeast, and it contains barley, oats and lactose, so if you're allergic to those, stay away from it. But yeah, 10% stout beer, and it's got it in French on the side as well, of course, because Canada is a kind of dual language country, of course. But yeah, the box looks really nice. As I say, just stay away from it if you're epileptic. But yeah, you can see cool bottle cap on this one as well. It comes in a little thing like this, and we'll get it out, and see what the bottle's like as well then. Yeah, so yeah, pretty much the same. It's one of these big 750, oh no, it's 1 American pint, so yeah, it's a 750 Bomber then 1 pint 9 US fluid ounces. So there you can see the artwork on the bottle is pretty much the same there. It says on the side here, horizontally traded cocoa nibs and powder from Chocosol traders of Toronto give this beer the most authentic and naturally luscious chocolate flavour and aroma. Espresso notes and the toasty tobacco aromas are part of the cocoa beans roasting, as well as the profile of this chocolate malt in this ruby-lit burnt umber bodied beer topped with fine cafe and Olay lacing. Lactose sweetness gives the Manifesto the heavenly body of a milk stout and the indulgence we crave in chocolate. So yeah, it looks really nice, this one. The triple chocolate milk stout is a treat for the indulgent beer geeks ready for their euphoric detour from the mundane. We pilgrimage to Chocosol in Toronto, revering the ancient beauty of their artisan chocolate. So yeah, it looks nice. As I said, there's the bottle cap on this one. It looks really nice actually. I'll definitely be keeping a hold of that one. Magnum opus, yeah, but very nice. And yeah, without further ado then, I guess we'll get this guy open and get on with the tasting. I'm really looking forward to this one, of course. Yeah, nice smoky opening there, and when I open it up you really can smell some of these lovely lactosey sweet chocolate notes coming out of this one. And that's pouring exactly as you would expect. Yeah, I think that'll be enough for the moment. We'll just let it settle for the moment and have a look at the colour and the aroma and stuff like this. But yeah, as you would expect, this beer's poured a lovely kind of ebony rosewood colour. There's a huge head on that, of course. It's a 3-finger, frothy, beigey tan head on this one. And that's probably just because it's, you know, it's come all the way from Canada and it's probably been sitting for a little while, knowing Cis Jambalaya. Of course, the beers tend to take ages to get out into the shops. But yeah, I think it's fair to say, dark ebony rosewood colour. If I shine it up to the light, it does have a little bit of a kind of ruby edge to it, but other than that, you know, it is a dark, kind of almost Coca-Cola colour, this one. There's some big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass and a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of the head there. And as I move it around, it really is a nice kind of brown bready note that I'm getting from this. A lot of kind of milky chocolate sweetness. You can really smell the lactose coming out of this beer, but there is some of the darker kind of roasted malts coming out of this one as well. But yeah, it smells absolutely lovely. Oh, just take, as I always say, just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of this beer before you get stuck into it, because the aroma is half the experience with things like craft beer, whiskey and sake and all of this. This is lovely. It really is one of the, it's probably the most milky kind of chocolate stout I've come across actually in terms of the aroma. But underneath you can smell a little bit of a kind of roasted black malt on this one, not too much of course. The aroma really is dominated by the milky chocolate and the sort of lactosey notes. There's a little bit of brown sugar in there, it's slightly toasted. Yeah, slightly toasty kind of brown sugar malts in there. There's a little bit of earthy hop as well, but not too much, and maybe just a little touch of a kind of red fruity ester as well. It reminds me of these little heart-shaped sweets that you get in the Haribo Star Mix. It's got that kind of candied red fruity thing to it, but really the aroma is definitely dominated by these big lactosey milk chocolate elements. But as I always say, take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma before you actually try the beer itself. This one smells absolutely lovely, so let's get stuck into this one then. So this one is the Chocolate Manifesto from Flying Monkeys Craft Brewery in Barrie, Ontario in Canada. My very first craft beer review from the province of Ontario. Slàinte, Skull, cheers. Yeah, that's pretty damn good. It's a lot lighter in the body than I was thinking it was going to be, but you can feel it thickening out as your palate adjusts to the beer. As I always say with these kind of dark beers, sugar it around your palate and let your whole mouth adjust to the flavour of the beer before you start analysing the flavour too much. But I'll tell you something, in the mouthfeel of that beer, it really is just kind of silky smooth. Really beautiful mouthfeel to this beer. And I like how it all just blends together. As you move into the aftertaste, you start to get more of these kind of roasted black malty characters just pushing their way out of this one, and they sit in the middle of the tongue, just giving you this kind of subtle note, and it works really nicely. All the sweetness though comes in the start of the beer. But that's damn good. And the other thing you have to say about this one is you would never guess that this is 10% alcohol. It covers it extremely well. it's a beautiful beer, you know, we can say that straight away. To me, this is a really, really nice beer, and you know, it got a rating of 98 on Rate Beer. I can see why. Let's just say that about this one. So yeah, in the middle of your palate, like I said, there's a little bit of roasted black malt just underpinning that one, but that really comes out more as you get further into the aftertaste. It's that lactosey character that's dominating the middle of your palate where all the malty flavours are. You can feel the roasty character just coming out a little bit later on. There's a lot of a kind of milky chocolate sweetness coming out of this one. There's maybe a little bit of dark chocolate in there, these kind of darker cocoa things coming out of it as well. I can feel a little bit of a brown sugar element. There's almost a kind of toasted caramel thing going on there as well. That's a little bit closer towards the front of the palate actually. You can just feel that kind of slightly oily brown sugar note coming out of this one. But that's a damn good beer, you know. But I'm kind of spoiled, I guess, if this is my first beer that I'm ever trying from Ontario. I really need to try some others if this is the kind of standard of stuff they can do over there. But this is really, really damn good. On the hoppy side of things, it is what you'd expect. On the back corners of your palate, you're picking up an earthiness. It is a little bit more of a bitter earthiness, and it smooths out as you come further forward. There is a little bit of bitterness on the front corners of your palate, but then again, it smooths out, and there's maybe just a little tiny hint of a sort of grassiness in there as you go around the front curve of the palate. The sort of hoppy flavours that are coming out of this one remind me of English hops. I do wonder if there's maybe Goldings or Fugels or something like that in there. That sort of dark, earthy character from this one really is quite reminiscent of some of the English hops, I think. It really is. It just goes together really, really well, actually. We'll take a little bit more of this, of course. But yeah, it's a lovely, lovely beer, this. There's a little bit of a sort of woody and kind of nutty complexity to this one. As your palate adjusts more and more to this beer, there is a sort of almost nutty character mixing in. I don't know if it's maybe hazelnuts or pecans, something like that. Hazelnuts or pecans kind of mixing in with the sort of lactosey flavour that this beer has. It's absolutely lovely. Just make no mistake about that. There's a lot of complexity to this beer as well. There's a little bit of a red fruity character coming out as well. As I always say, the fruity characters always come out in that little oily bubble behind the very front curve of your palate, and you can just feel that there. It's a kind of candied red fruit ester, maybe very slightly figgy coming out of this one, but as I was saying with the aroma, it reminds me of the little heart-shaped sweets that you get in Haribo Star Mix. That's the sort of fruity character you're finding from this one. It definitely leans more towards the kind of the sort of milk stout side of things. It's basically an Imperial milk stout, this beer, but it's absolutely lovely. The way the milky chocolate comes out in this is absolutely beautiful. Yeah, if you enjoy a milk stout, you certainly are going to enjoy this one, but it's dangerously drinkable. It's a very, very easy drinking beer, this one. Absolutely lovely. I love the way that just the hops, that little roasted character that starts to come out later on, and the way the earthy hops come out in the aftertaste is lovely. There's a lot going on in this beer, so just sit with it, enjoy it, let it warm up. As you let it warm up, you can feel a little bit more of the kind of woody, nutty character coming out, and the lactose and the chocolate just starts to become more complex. You start to get more of these darker kind of cocoa notes out of the beer as well. But it's really damn good. That's the basic point of this review. This is a really, really damn good beer. In terms of the mouthfeel, I would say this one's mid-bodied. It is a lot lighter than some of the Imperial stouts that I've come across before. The carbonation is very, very smooth. It's got a good oily character to it as well, but mainly it's creamy. It's a lot of that lactosey character that's coming out of this one. That's what dominates the mouthfeel in this one. The malt, of course, like I said, very, very sweet. Not overpoweringly sweet right enough, but it just goes together very, very well. It's that creamy lactosey feel that's dominating the palate. There's a little bit of bitterness from the hops and from the kind of roasted elements to the malt base as well. That comes out a bit more in the aftertaste. You can just feel the beer drying out as you progress further and further into the aftertaste, and there's a tiny little bit of a fruity character, juicy fruits from the kind of figgy and that kind of candied red fruit flavour coming out of this beer. But overall, this is a really, really damn good beer, and I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink this again. It was a little bit more expensive to buy over here. I think I paid maybe about 130 crowns for this one, which is maybe the equivalent of 13, 14 American dollars, so I guess that's maybe around 16, 17 Canadian, and when you consider it would probably cost roughly about that in Canada anyway, and that's the good thing about Sistia and Blagat, they don't make profit on these things, but it was definitely worth the price that I paid for it to be able to try a beer from Ontario, and I'm glad that for my first review I got one that is of such a high standard. So hopefully I can try some of the other beers from this brewery and from the province in the fairly near future. Like I said, it is just disappointing that Canadian beer is so difficult to come across, but this one was really damn good. I'm really glad that I got to review this one. So yeah, it's been really cool to review my first beer from Ontario for you on the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed my take on it. If you have tried this beer before, please let me know your own thoughts on it in the comment section below, and do recommend some other beers both from this brewery and from other breweries around Ontario and Canada. It'd be great to hear from you guys. Thank you again for watching. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Check out all my usual social media, but most importantly, support your local craft breweries and make sure you try some of the Flying Monkeys craft brewery beers if you do get the chance and you find yourself in Ontario. So yeah, the Chocolate Manifesto from Flying Monkeys Craft Brewery in Barrie, Ontario. Until the next time, it's Slangy just now, and I will catch you very soon. If you love it, if you enjoy a milk stout, if you enjoy a sweet stout, this one is going to be right up your alley, but be aware, it is ridiculously drinkable for a 10% ABV beer. Till the next time, it's Slangy just now. Cheers.